Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Noob Sports Show. I'm your host, Ryan Newpel, here with you each and every time. Hey, today I'm joined by another great guest. Today we have the CEO and founder of BookIt Sports, Trent Attyah, on the line with me. Trent, are you here?
Yes, sir. How we doing? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm doing fine. How about yourself? Are you hanging in there during this sports shutdown? Are you staying safe and staying sane?
It's been pretty difficult. I never really realized how much I do value sports, and when it's not on, I'm kind of finding myself not sure what to do with my time because I really devote so much time to watching sports, and now that it's not on anymore for the unforeseeable future. Having to come up with other things to keep busy and stay occupied. That's not watching sports.
Yeah, it's crazy how much we actually take it for granted, I think, just that it's always here and it's always going and it never goes away. And then when it does, we're like, whoa, like this is weird. And
Yeah.
so I think it'll make us all in this sports industry really appreciate the craft of what we do and just the end product of these sports a lot more when it comes back. We'll probably won't take a day for granted after it comes back.
Absolutely. I'm so used to waking up and turning on, either First Take or Fox Sports and just getting tuned into what's going on in the daily news. And now I really don't feel any desire to watch those networks because I know exactly what they're talking about. And there's nothing going on except for the virus. So, it really does affect the minute I wake up until I go to bed, because it's usually all sports. Now it's really just Netflix, working, Netflix.
For sure. I feel the pain. I feel it. So give us a little background. So you're the CEO and founder of BookIt Sports. I guess first tell the audience and everybody listening what BookIt Sports is.
Yeah, so I came up with the idea in May, and I identified a problem in the sports betting industry that there's a lack of user engagement and simplified content consumption. And so one of my roommates had money on the Charlotte Hornets or the Toronto Raptors to beat the Charlotte Hornets last year. And the Hornets actually won on a full court shot at the buzzer. And my roommate had a hilarious reaction that I really wanted to post somewhere because I knew it was relatable content and people felt the same way. But then I just didn't know where to post it. And he was like, I actually made a separate Instagram and Twitter account specifically to post and follow with the sports betting community. And that's when I realized that there's not a platform dedicated strictly to sports betting. And I realized that there's definitely a need for this community. So that's when, I kind of acted on the idea and turned it into a venture that I'm now pursuing and hopefully launching, within the next coming months as sports start to unfold. But imagine Instagram, but specifically for sports betting. That's the goal with BookIt Sports, is to connect the global community on one central hub. Because I realized that sports bettors were jumping from app to website to, multiple different sources to interact and consume different types of content in the sports betting space. And that's what led me to pursue this venture.
Very cool. It's a very cool concept, and I definitely think you're onto something with the need of it, right? I mean, we all want to talk sports and sports betting without the distractions of maybe some other stuff. So, a platform like that will kind of let you stay focused and be able to, I guess, communicate with like-minded individuals who are all talking about the same full court shot that just busted up their 4-team parlay or whatever, So
Exactly.
that'll be neat.
Exactly.
So you're a college kid. I mean, you're in college. You're still going through college. What in the world, I guess, drives you to do something this, I would call it big? I mean, at this point in your life, this is a big move. This is a big project, being a CEO, launching a business, going through the whole investing side of things that comes from a business. I guess, where do you get the motivation to do something like this at your age?
Yeah, honestly, when I just think about long-term what my future looks like, I really just think about what is it I want to be doing. And I really just see myself as leading the charge for a new revolutionary concept. And I've known that for quite some time now, but I just couldn't put a finger on what that idea was going to be. And then I saw the opportunity for this venture, and I just jumped all over it because I feel like I've got the entrepreneurial spirit and the drive and the passion to lead a team to a successful product. And so I saw the opportunity with BookIt Sports, and I combined my two favorite passions, which are sports and media. And that's what keeps me going. It's just that it doesn't really feel like work. It really feels just like a really fun project that I'm constantly working on every day, and the thing that keeps me going is these awesome connections that I'm making, reaching out to these NBA and NFL players on LinkedIn and actually getting responses is awesome. I don't know anyone else who's my age doing something like this. And it's been a really great experience. I've learned so much more throughout this venture than I probably would if I pursued a business degree. And I have a ton of friends that are, pursuing business that I don't think would be capable of doing the things that I'm doing. And it takes a really certain type of person to be able to actually execute a vision like this. And I was able to recognize that, I had, an entrepreneurial mindset early on that I really felt like I could do this, even though I had no background in business. I'm not a business major. I've never started a business. I'm learning everything as I go, but I've got a really great support team behind me that is willing to, bear with me with my lack of business experience, and then also teach me along the way and, continuously adding to my advisory board so I can have those who are able to guide me in the right direction if I'm headed in the wrong way or something like that. But just the support I've been getting, the traction I've been getting is very exciting and keeps me fueled. And, I'm just really excited to finally launch something. I feel like it's been over a year. It really even hasn't since I came up with the idea, which is crazy. It feels like it's so long, but I'm really excited to finally, stop building the hype and finally launch something.
Yeah. Man, I'm really fascinated by that story and by what you're doing because, you think back and you think to the college setting, right? And most kids and most people in college are doing a little different activity than what you're doing. You're spending your nights and your every free time building a true business. And you mentioned some things about really maybe not having the experience or not knowing some things, but that's what business is all about. Business is about executing, taking chances, and just trying it. It honestly is. You can learn all you want. And I'm not going to discredit college or anything like that because I think there's definitely a need to learn and to take all these courses and things like that.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, you got to go out and do and get that experience. And that's the way you're going to learn. And to me, it's just fascinating. You're doing them at the same time and you're going to be so much further ahead coming out of college because what's your path? Well, I have my path. I already have my business. It's like, it's really fascinating to me. So I commend you for taking the initiative and really making that happen from a business owner perspective. So that's not easy at that age. So congrats on that.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate it. And, I just had the mindset of is if this ends up failing, the worst possible case scenario is that I have a very good, resume builder to show somebody that I basically did all of this on my own. And I'm kind of like a 5-tool player. I could really be utilized wherever it may be in the industry of sports.
So another cool thing, and I think you kind of have a similar mindset to me in this space, but I've noticed you really being vocal out on LinkedIn and different places and really building your network or connections in the sports industry. And what's funny is that's kind of how we met. We met on LinkedIn and just kind of tossing around your idea and what's going on and this and that. And the next thing you know, you showed up in Orlando at an accelerator event to try to get some investment, which is like so cool to me. But have you noticed networking and things like that really playing a big role? If you had to talk to other college kids or other people starting a business, what role does networking play in just getting something off the ground for you?
I think networking is literally the number one priority, especially in today's time, because, without LinkedIn, I would not have nearly as much traction as I do have. I've made all my connections through LinkedIn, just shooting my shot, just feeling like there's really nothing to lose if I reach out to, Metal World Peace or whatever NBA player or whoever it may be, people that are responding on LinkedIn. There's people that are very influential and have a lot of credibility and influence in the community that are very responsive on LinkedIn and are willing to help you out. And you're, for example, somebody that I've followed for so long, and now I could actually, put a face to the name of, we've met in person, and, I'm utilizing your network, and we're on this podcast now. I mean, everything just comes back together when you network on LinkedIn. And that's, staying in touch with those connections, not just adding them on LinkedIn and, thinking that's like a great job. At the end of the day, it really doesn't mean anything until you turn that connection into a genuine relationship. That's my biggest thing I've learned throughout this time, because if you stay in touch with those people, they're definitely more inclined to actually help you out rather than you just reaching out on a whim. But utilizing LinkedIn, utilizing, emails, keeping everybody in the loop, staying engaged with the community. That's, I can tell that makes a huge impact with what I'm doing, because I always get people saying, "Oh, I love what you're doing on LinkedIn." I get that more often than you think. And I feel like sometimes, I'm being a little bit too pushy, but I'm always reassured that people are, staying engaged with what I'm doing based on what I'm posting on LinkedIn. So it definitely, if you feel like you're posting too much, I don't think there's a too much, because as long as you're in the people's minds, you're doing something right. So networking is huge.
Yeah, I think there's a balance there, right? I think your posts have to come across genuine. They can't be all salesy. I mean, if you're all salesy, that's when it's going to be too much. But if you're truly providing value to the community that you're in and to the people that are your audience, I think you really can't post too much of that, which then gets your name out there as well. So yeah, I love what you're doing there. And, I think we have similar mindsets on that. So let's flip gears though. Let's go back to BookIt Sports. And let's talk about, I guess, where you're going, where you're heading. So you're almost ready to launch. I'm assuming this whole sports shutdown, I'm actually assuming maybe this is actually a decent timing for that, because now you can really head down and finish this product and get it out. So when sports really comes back, you're kind of ready to go. Is that kind of where you're at? Or tell us a little bit about where you're at, where you're heading, and what you envision when sports comes back for you.
Exactly. So in December, I was really feeling the pressure to launch something early 2020 because of this. The economy was so good, sports were flourishing, sports betting was, getting legalized in more states, and it was a very hot topic, and I was feeling a lot of pressure. And I really, really just didn't want to put something on the App Store just because I'm forcing it. I really want to put, a solid amount of money and a big amount of time and effort into the development before launching. But thankfully, I mean, as bad as the virus is, and it's an awful situation, it really was the best possible case scenario for me and my team, because now the elephant's off our shoulders to launch something in March, April, and really, spend time and money on development where it needs to be spent, and really get something that's product ready to launch in the App Store. So, before the virus was even a thing, our plan was to launch the first couple weeks of June. But now with the virus, definitely, me personally, I don't think sports are being played till at least August, September at the earliest. And so with that case, we are definitely on track to launch around that time. But we had narrowed the scope of our development to, we removed some features to accommodate, releasing our app very soon. But now that we have more time, we could actually go back and enhance those features and actually put them in the app that will provide the user a enhanced experience that we're really excited about. So we were really, really blessed with the situation that's happening right now in the world. It does make it a little difficult to raise some capital, but thankfully I've got some figured out that will keep me, going, keep me operating until we launch. And any investor pitches that I had previous to the virus, had kind of been put on pause for the time being. But I do have another wave that I'm pitching to, and a possible accelerator that I could be participating in after I graduate. So, the state of the world really is just uncertain, which, kind of puts a couple things up in the air. But in terms of launching the app and, establishing our user base early on, we're in a very, very good spot right now.
Yeah, and I think the flip side of that a little bit, I know a lot of people are uneasy, investors are uneasy, things like that. But if you look back over the course of history, I mean, this is when people get rich. This is when investors really can find, their product or service or whatever that they want to invest in and really, I guess, go big with that. This is a time for that. So I think
Exactly.
there may be some people out there that are still interested. And so, I mean, hopefully some audience on this show actually are people that, may be interested in BookIt Sports or working with somebody like you, Trent. So I hope to make
Yeah.
that connection here through something like this, as I'm assuming you're still looking for that. And I was going to get into that next, but you kind of touched on it, the investment side and the money side, because it's not cheap to develop an app. It's not, I know you put in tons of time and tons of sweat equity, but the cash has to come as well to make something like that happen. So anything you want to say more along the investment side or to potential investors, I guess this isn't a pitch podcast by any means, but I guess anything, if somebody's listening and maybe looking to invest, anything you wanted to say there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, every startup needs capital, right, to continue to operate and also enhance your current product, which is definitely something I'm still pursuing. But, it's not like I'm at a dead position right now where I can't continue to keep moving forward. But we are definitely looking for investors at this time to expand on our current team and surround us with more developers to monitor the tech, enhance the back end technology, and then also enhance the front end, animations and designs of the app. But I'm a very passionate young entrepreneur, and I think that the current state of the world with COVID-19, sports are going to be more important than they have ever been once they return. I think whatever the first sporting event that returns is probably going to be the highest rated sports show of all time, because even if it's North Texas versus Toledo, I think it's going to have a massive turnout. And with that, everyone's going to be betting on that. Even the people who have never bet before, they have friends who are going to influence them to come on and bet. And I think whatever the sports betting industry was valued at is going to double by the time sports come back. And it's going to be, I just think this is a whole new generation that we're going to come back into once the virus dies. And I think sports betting is going to be the epicenter of sports. I think once sports come back, they're going to be venues, sports books in the stadium. I think there's going to be a sports betting mobile sports book that takes over everything. I don't know which brand's going to do that. My guess would be Barstool, but I'm there also having to deal with, the same situation I'm in right now. I saw Penn National had to put a pause on all existing projects. And, that's a big blow in the industry, but it really gives me that opportunity to, get ahead of the game while the others are falling back. So I think I'm in a really good spot here. And if there's an investor out there that, is willing to take the chance and, put up a check that allows me to launch, the potential product that I think we're capable of building, then by all means, I would love to connect and elaborate further on where we're at in our current stage. But yeah, just really excited about it. And, even if you're not an investor and you just want to learn more about BookIt Sports, I would love to connect. And if you're a sports betting startup too, we're always looking for potential affiliates and partners to join and be a part of this community. So more than happy to get on a call or, Zoom, whatever, with anybody who would like to connect further and learn more about it.
Amazing, Trent. Well, I appreciate your time. Definitely. I won't keep you all day. I know you're a busy man, got a lot going on, balancing college, balancing work and all of this. So let us know, where can we get a hold of you? Where can the audience get a hold of you if they'd like? What's the best channel?
Yeah, so LinkedIn, just hit me up, Trent Attyah. Our website, bookitsports.app. You can learn more about the app, sign up, check out some videos. You can see a pitch or two of mine. And Instagram, Trent Attyah, or bookit.sports. You can follow me at either one of those, and you can get updates on, my personal life and also BookIt Sports and the development process. But those are probably the best channels, and Twitter as well. I'm also on there. But feel free to hit me up anywhere. I'm very responsive.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I'll make sure to add all those links in the show notes of this episode. And Trent, we really appreciate you being here. I think there was a lot of value added in an indirect way, a lot of value added to the audience here as well. You can grab a few little tips out of here from a college kid that's really making it happen in the entrepreneurial world. So congrats on that again. Thank you for being here. Any last words for the audience?
Everybody stay home, stay safe and healthy during this time. I appreciate you tuning in and listening to my story. Hopefully, all this comes to an end soon, but just know that there is a brighter light at the end of the tunnel amid all this chaos. So stay home and stay safe.
100%. We will all stay home. We will all stay safe. There's really not a choice of staying home, nothing else to do. And when sports comes back, I'm looking forward to following BookIt Sports and seeing the impact you guys make in the social space around this. So thanks again, Trent, and we'll be talking to you soon. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You as well.
Bye-bye.